Before we start this video, a large thank you to Amir, Robert, and Vladimir for their support on Patreon. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I hope you enjoy the video. And, as always, an immense thank you to Halo Burner and Ryan Bellin for their immense support to the channel this month on Patreon. It is always appreciated, gentlemen, and I hope you enjoy the video. Hello everybody, let's continue with our sneaking, and let's create some animation states. So, I'm going to copy the locomotion for one-handed idle, and two-handed idle. So we're basically going to make one for crouching. I'm just going to call it sneak. Now, this blend tree, as it is the animation window, and we have a lot of blend trees here, there's only so much you can make this look neat, because we have a lot of animations going on, and that is kind of the nature of Unity's animator window. That's why I try to do all of it, or as much as I can, a blend through code and then resetting back to a simple empty state, because generally speaking, translating from animation to animation is not very fun when you have like a billion of them. Also, I'm going to drop in all of these crouch animations and then snap back in a couple seconds. So you have to watch me do all this. So also, for those of you who are wondering, the crouching animations are available on pretty much any of our animation packs on the asset store. Just check the file list in there and you should see it. I know the bow and the straight sword have it for sure. I'm pretty sure we've updated the rest of the sets to have them too though. So you don't have to use those animations though, you can get your own, you can just get a couple placeholders, doesn't matter, not important at all. Let's just use whatever you got and we can make the different animation states here for sneak. I got one-handed and two-handed. You could even put in regular animations right now, just copy it just to see that it works. You don't need to actually have this animated if you don't have them right at the very moment. So let's go back here and let's go over to our two new blend trees. I got sneak one-handed and two-handed. Gonna move over the any state, exit, and entry. I'm going to copy the idles as well, paste them right here like so, and now begins the not so fun part of setting up transitions. I don't know, maybe you like setting up animation window transitions. I certainly don't think I do. So sneak idle and sneak two-handed idle. Alright, looks good. And now let's go, and I'm going to drop in my idles here because those are just a singular animation, almost forgot. Now you can obviously override these animations too for different weapon sets, like I have different animations for the bow and different two-handed animations for the straight sword. So if you want to go edit your override controllers, you can go ahead and do that too. So I'm going to start by going from sneak idle to sneak locomotion, and we're going to say if is moving is false for the idle obviously, and if is moving is true for the is moving state, and then do the reverse for the not is moving state. Now generally speaking too, if you want to keep it very simple, you can always check for is sneaking, is moving, and is two-handing. But for some states, you only need to check for like one parameter and it won't give you any grief. But to be extra safe, you can do all three states. I'm just going to do that anyway on the rest of these just because. All right, so we already have an is sneaking pool. I think we set that up in the last video. So next, let's just go from sneak idle two-handed to sneak idle one-handed. I'm just going to give this a bit more space. So here we need to check for if we're moving, that's going to be false. And then we're going to check for are we sneaking, that's going to be true. And lastly, we need to check for if we're two-handing. And these are the three selections you can use for all of these transitions just to be safe. But like I said, the way it works out, sometimes you only need to check one because it'll bounce back between two states, and then when it gets to the other state, it'll leave the two-handed or the sneaking transition, whatever. But if you want to be extra safe, just always use all three. So now we do the reverse, obviously going back to two-hand if we're not moving, if we're sneaking, but we are two-handing the weapon, sorry. Then we go back to the two-handed idle. So let's do this also for the sneak one-handed weapon and two-handed weapon. I'll make the transition from two-handed idle first to the two-handed idle unsneaked. So we can just go up here and say is moving is equal to false. And then is sneaking is going to be false, and is two-handing weapon is going to be true. So we're just going to say is sneaking false. Cool. So when the animation transition starts stacking up, you can see here, I have three over here. You can just click them, by the way, like this, and it will take you to it instead of trying to click the arrow. I find that a lot more useful. Oh, and make sure you untick has exit time on all of these, by the way. My bad, I forgot to say that. So we're just going to say is moving is equal to false, and then I'm going to say is sneaking is equal to false, and then I'm going to say is two-handing weapon is equal to false, and this is from idle to idle, basically. So now we're going to go over here to the locomotion, and let's go from sneak one-handed locomotion to regular one-handed locomotion. And it's going to be very similar. We're just going to make sure we're saying we're not sneaking, and then we're not two-handing a weapon. And since this is this the locomotion? Yes. We're going to check for are moving. So are we moving? Yes. Are we sneaking? No. Are we two-handing a weapon? No, because it's one-handed to one-handed. Is moving is true because it's locomotion. See, this is why I don't like doing animation state transitions, because the way my mind works, 99% of the time, I will mess up at least one transition when doing a bunch, and I'll jump back into the project, and I'll have to figure that out by testing it out, but that's okay, that's why you test it. The whole visual scripting thing I'm not a giant fan of, and this is what it feels similar to me, all the nodes and transitions. Anyway, let's make a transition from sneak two-handed weapon to sneak one-handed weapon. Again, on tick as exit time. And you guys know it by now. If you want to pause the video and go ahead and make all your transitions, you can. If not, you can watch me do it and follow along. That's all well and good. But if you're this far into the series, you definitely don't need my help to set these up. You might save some time, I guess, by watching me so you don't forget one. But let's go from sneak one-handed to sneak two-handed on tick as exit time. And again, we're just going to check here for, are we sneaking? Yes. Are we two-handing a weapon? Has to be true in this case because we are going back to the two-handed weapon and sneak. And are we moving? Has to be true also because this is a locomotion state. Okay, now we need to go from the regular animations to the sneaking animations. So I'm going to start with the idle. So we're going to go from one-handed idle to sneak one-handed idle. Is moving is false. And we're going to say is sneaking is true. And if you wanted to, you could say is two-handing weapon is false. But you don't have to there in that state. But if you want to be safe, go for it. And then we're going to go from our idle two-handed weapon to our sneak idle two-handed weapon. We're going to say is moving is false. We're going to say is sneaking is true. And we're going to say is two-handing weapon is of course true. Now let's do our locomotion. So locomotion two-handed to sneak two-handed. Going to untick as exit time as always. We're going to check for are we sneaking? And then we're going to check for are we moving? Because this is a locomotion state. And then we're going to check for are we two-handing a weapon? Cool. Now let's do the one-handed locomotion. I think this is the last one. And then we're going to click this here. We're going to untick as exit time. And then we're going to say is sneaking is equal to true. We're going to say is moving is equal to true. And then we're going to say is two-handing weapon is equal to false. Okay, now I made my button a left stick press when it should be left stick down. Actually, I think I had that right before. I'm probably going to regret that. So I'm going to go into the game here now, and I'm going to run around, and yeah, it is not sneaking, so I must have messed this up. No, I have an interaction on. Don't forget to remove your interactions, because I duplicated another button and then had a whole interaction. That's my bad. And yes, it was certainly supposed to be left stick press. It didn't work because I had the interaction, so I was right the first time. Alright, if I go back into the game here now, you can see when I press it, yes, it does work. The animations appear to be working correctly, so I'm going to try two-handing my weapon as well, and then we can go into the crouch animation and lock on and walk around, and yes, all of the animation states appear to be working correctly. Alright, so if I were to go back into the game here now, you can see I have this guy targeting me. You can see my hidden status is gone away, but I'm still sneaking. So what we want to do is make sure that it's actually going to come back when I kill him. So after I've killed him now, it actually does not. And the reason being, if I go to my characters or players combat manager, you can see he's still on the list of people that are targeting me even though he's dead. So let's remedy that. Let's go into the character network manager, and on is dead changed, we're going to say if is owner character.character combat manager set target, and we're going to pass null. Now this actually isn't still going to clear the target because we can see here if the current target is null, we can't really send anything. But we're going to make a server RPC to clear the target. So we're going to say if the target is null, we're going to say character network manager dot clear target server RPC, and this doesn't exist yet, so we're going to make it real quick. Now let's go over and copy, or if you want to write it out, we can say server RPC public virtual void in case you want to do some weird logic and override it in a different network manager, clear target server RPC. So all we're going to do is launch a client RPC if we're the server. So let's copy and paste this and change the words server RPC to client RPC. And we're going to say if is server perform this client RPC, And then on the client RPC, we're going to say if we're not the owner, our current target on our character combat manager is equal to null. We're checking if we're not the owner because we already do this on our end. And we want to not do it from the client RPC for us because we want it to happen instantly for us. And if there's a small delay, we don't want to notice that. So we do it instantly on our side and then update it for everyone else on the other side. Now, lastly, we're going to say if the current target does not equal null, we're going to say current target dot character network manager, and this has to be before we're assigning the new target. And then we're just going to create a new function that doesn't exist yet. We're going to say remove character from list of characters targeting me. We pass our character network manager ID. So basically, if we get a new target or we clear a target, we're going to make sure that we're going to remove ourselves from the list of characters that are targeting whatever our previous target was. So let's make a server RPC and let's require ownership equal false. And then we're going to set it up much like we set up add character to a list of characters targeting me. It's the exact same thing, except we're going to, instead of obviously add a character to a list, we're going to remove them from the list. So let's just go ahead and we can pretty much copy most of this function verbatim. We just got to change the list check. Now, same deal, make a client RPC as well. And call that client RPC from the server RPC if you are the server. I'm just going to make sure I have the name here correctly. We're going to say if is server, and then we're going to pass, or rather call, remove character from list of characters targeting me, pass the network ID. So if the list contains this character, then remove this character, and then we still check for the hidden status. Okay, that looks good. Let's go back to the character network or combat manager because this should be outside of the if new target does not equal null check. It should come before. This always happens before you check for the new target. And that looks good. Let's save that. Okay, let's go back over to the character network manager because I forgot to type client RPC here, and we're going to save that, and I think we're good. Now if I go into the game here now, I'm sneaking, and now I am not hidden. Cool. And now if I kill this gentleman, I'll snap back in a sec. Yes, I am hidden again. So working as intended. Now in the next video, we're going to go over actually adding some benefits to the, I'm just going to check my player comment manager. Yeah, okay, he's got on the list. We're going to add some benefits to sneaking, such as not being able to be detected at a further range. And we're also going to add in footsteps and sound detection. And then we're going to basically make it so that while you're sneaking, you don't give off any footsteps or sound. If you guys want to, I can also make an investigate sound state. So basically, if you create some sound, I don't think I've done that. If I didn't do that, I can do that. If you make a sound somewhere, you can make the AI go investigate the sound. And on the way there, if they find a target, they can add that to their target, then transition to their normal combat states. Alright guys, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have a very lovely weekend. Thank you as always my patrons for keeping my lights on. Thank you to the people who take the time to like and comment the video and share it via word of mouth. Especially you guys are why the series is alive and well, and you have my sincerest gratitude. I'll see you guys in the next one.